Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Habit, Skills, and Attitude Tuesday call with Maria and Caitlin. Today, we're going to be talking about the rebuttals. So probably one of the least studied and most forgotten about parts of the sales talk, but kind of one of the most important, making a difference in your confidence if you're good at using them. So definitely something good to keep always working on. And I wanted to start out with saying, why do we use rebuttals? So you might think it's always to make them turn the no's into yeses, but really the point of the rebuttals, guys, is to turn the maybes into either a definite yes or a definite no. Because a no is still better than a maybe, right? Because a maybe is usually just a no when you end up going back to see them. So the point of it is just kind of for your own conscience, your peace of mind, your mental health, so you're not running back and forth following up with people who still need to think about it. Pretty much the goal of the goal should be to try and answer a lot of these objections before it comes up. So we'll talk about where to kind of predict what they're going to say, and then as well as how to use the different rebuttals. So we have some in your success manual, which I've got right here. Hopefully you all have it. You start on page 96. And then also in your paper copy of sales talk, they're on page 14. Slightly different between the two, but kind of the same concept. So guys, probably the three biggest objections that we all get would be spousal. I can't make a decision without talking to my spouse. Procrastination, I need to think about it or something like that, and then financial, I can't afford it. And you can answer all of these with these rebuttals, guys, either showing the prospect why this is still a good fit for them, or telling yourself why they're definitely not a fit and just move on, don't need to bother coming back. So you want to answer the spousal in the buying atmosphere, guys, rather than waiting for objection come up at the end. You don't want to be using a rebuttal for that if you can help it. And then procrastination, same thing in the buying atmosphere. And then after the price page, you can show an IRA about procrastination to get them to remember that they told you they were going to give you a yes or a no. And then for financial, that's the one you're probably gonna always get after they see the prices, because they don't know what it costs and they can't really say that. So try to address those beforehand, but then if you still need to use a rebuttal or two at the end, you'll just be ready. So guys, I would say plan on using at least 2 rebuttals every download just to be safe, kind of have those in your back pocket, just ready to go. And you don't want this to be like a battle, you guys. It's not like they say this, so you rebuttal with this. It's kind of like you want to be listening really well. And sometimes the thing they say isn't what they really mean. And that can be kind of complicated. So they might say, oh, I'm not sure, I need to think about it. But what they're really saying, what they mean is this a real company? Like, I've never heard of them before. And so you want to just kind of listen to them and just try and be relatable, relate to their situation. So when I'm showing an IRA, for example, in a rebuttal, I try to show an IRA that relates more to the person, not necessarily just to the situation. So if I'm talking to a parent, I'll use an IRA that talks about of a kid that got cancer, or a kid got in an accident. Or if it's a young person, I'll show one where a young person is going through cancer. That's a little more relatable than just being like, well, this person said they could afford it. And then just going over which rebuttals to use. Probably the easiest one, which is listed as rebuttal 1 in the sales talk. It's pretty much, if you knew that, and don't usually say don't say the person if you can help it, if you can say like their spouse. If you knew for a fact somehow that your spouse is going to go through cancer in a couple months, would you get this today? And usually they'll say yes. If they say no, then they're just not with it and just move on. It's fine. If they say yes, you just say, so how do you know that's not going to happen? And then they're going to be like, oh, well, I don't know. So given the fact that you're going to get all your premiums back, regardless of whether that happens or not, it's just smart to get protected while you still can, right? And then you're going to want to go back, just kind of flow back into the application that you were working on So that's the first rebuttal. That's just kind of if you knew is what I call that one. The second rebuttal is feel, felt, found. So the way that goes, you're gonna have to have, if you sense a little hesitation, you're gonna want to have like an IRA ready, a testimonial that you like to use for this. And that one goes like, Jenny, I completely understand how you feel. I've had a couple clients say the same thing at first. Let me share something with you. Then you say something like, I know exactly how you feel. A couple of my clients felt the same way until they really realized what this could do for their family. And then let me share something with you. You share a testimonial. You say, the reason I share this with you, Jenny, is because there's only 2 times people think about this. One time is when we're sitting here talking about it. And what do you think the other time is? And they'll be like, oh, when it happens or something like that. And be like, right, so let's get you covered today because you never know what tomorrow holds in store. So what was your address again? Just keep going. Sometimes you're gonna have to use these back-to-back guides. When you try and go back in the app, they give you another objection. Just kind of take a second and listen to them. Don't get flustered. It's not them being difficult so much as them just looking for more information. They need our help to really solidify their decision to buy. Sometimes they're not too sure and they need us to confirm that this is indeed the right decision. So that was feel, felt, found. Another good rebuttal is going to be what we call the crystal ball, 3 situations. So that's really a good one for helping them either go yes or no. And with this one, the way it goes, you're pretty much like, hey, Mrs. Prospect, I've had a couple clients kind of in the same position as you, and I really helped them out by asking them just these 3 simple questions. So let's just say you had a crystal ball. I know, silly, right? Let's just say you did. If the crystal ball showed you that you got this today, and then 3 months down the road, your husband was diagnosed with cancer, and you had this program and it helped you out, how would you feel then? Oh, pretty good. Okay. Well, how would you feel if the crystal ball showed you down the road 20 years from now, you never got cancer, and then you see little me coming back, bringing you a return of premium check for $20,000 or whatever it is? How would you feel then? Like, well, that'd be cool, right? Or Mrs. Prospect, how would you feel if you didn't get this today and the crystal ball showed you a couple months down the road that your husband ended up going through cancer, missing 6 months of work, you're driving him back and forth, not working either? How would you feel then? And then obviously they're gonna be like, oh, well, that would be not good. And then you can say, well, the crystal ball shows you that the only way you lose is if you don't have the policy when you need it. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. So what was your address? And just you got to be kind of smooth about what to say after the rebuttal and how to go back into the app. I know personally, I get objections on 2 main parts of the application process. Usually when I'm asking for the beneficiary, because they're like, wait, am I signing up for this? And then you got to kind of be like, well, I mean, you said, remind me, you said the thing you liked best about this was the return of premium, right? Well, since you get your return of premium, no matter if you use it or if you don't use it, it probably just makes a lot of sense to get you covered while you're still healthy enough to qualify. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Just kind of flow back into it. I also get the rebuttals a lot on the price page. And the best thing you can do when they're talking about price is you want to belittle the cost. And the best way to do that is to compare it to something more fun and exciting than a bill. But we can compare it to a cell phone bill. We can compare it to utilities, but I like to compare it to like eating out. So if it's a family, probably their monthly premium is going to be cheaper than taking the family out to eat. If it's a single person or a couple, probably honestly same thing. It's really about, I like to compare it to going out to eat once a month. For most people, that's not too crazy. Like most people probably go out to eat once in a while. So that's a good thing to compare it to. You can even break down the price by day. So if it's $30 a month, you could be like, guys, this is like $1 a day. Not really a lifestyle changer, is it? I think in the success manual, that is on page 98. Basically, the way they say it, so Joe, most people feel they can't deny themselves and their family all the security this provides for just $1 a day. And if you never use it, you get all your money back. Now that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? And you like to to end with something that makes them say, yeah, they'll agree with you. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So again, the sales talk and the success manual have slightly different versions. So I would recommend reading through all of them just to kind of, and then just kind of memorize at least 2, probably 3, so that you're really comfortable using them. And then read over your IRAs, read over your testimonials, and find just a couple that just really speak to you that makes sense. I know there's one by Scott Dipple that talks about price. He's like, as a person who pays the monthly bills, I struggle to find room for this in the budget. I'm really glad that we ended up doing this. Something like that. Something about indirect costs. There's a whole bunch of good IRAs to use. And just sometimes letting another person say it is more powerful than if you were just telling them, because they'll trust the person doing the testimonial sometimes a little more than they trust us. So, Caitlin, are you still on here? I think Caitlin hopped off. Does anybody have any questions or anything like that? All right, if you guys have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to me, send me a text. And today's day. Okay, go ahead.
What would you say is like you know, like your favorite rebuttal to someone saying like, oh, I just can't make a decision today? Do you just go to like the crystal ball one or something like that, or is there a different way?
Crystal ball would be a good one. I think the simplest one would just be, it's kind of along the same lines, would be, hey, Mr. Prospect, I totally get that. I've had a couple folks kind of say the same things. I mean, I'm guessing you probably weren't thinking about this when you woke up this morning. That's the thing though. There's only 2 times people ever think about this kind of thing. One of them is when I'm sitting here having a conversation with you. And when do you think the other time is? Yeah. And then at that point, when it's too late, when it's already happening, there's nothing I can do. It just makes a lot of sense to get you protected today while you're still healthy enough to qualify, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. And just trying, that one would be a good one, or the crystal ball, 3 situations. Because if they, for some reason, say, if I knew cancer was going to happen, I wouldn't get this, then okay, goodbye. Like, we don't need to talk to you. So yes, good question. I think either of those would probably be the best one to use for procrastination. Or read a testimonial too. Feel felt bound. This is how Mark and Andy Sharp felt till they ended up signing up for this. And then within just 1 month, they ended up using it. So that would probably be good too. Good question. Anybody else have a question? All right, guys. So daily challenge today. I want everybody to use a rebuttal at least once today. I want you to text me and tell me which rebuttal you used. Whether it works or not, doesn't really matter. Just getting in the reps, getting in the practice. And remember, it's working if the prospect gets to a definite no. Obviously, we'd rather them get to a definite yes, but a no is better than a maybe. And guys, I want to encourage you to kind of mean what you say. If you mean, like, if you say that, I'm not, like, today's the day, either give me a simple yes or simple no, and we'll be done with it. Don't be coming back to people who are saying, oh, let me think about it, to maybe come back in a month or whatever. Because I mean, I've done that a whole bunch of times, and it just kind of trains yourself to go back for people who kind of lied to you a little bit. And we have better people to talk to than liars. So if somebody is kind of being a little bit shady about it, use a couple of rebuttals, and if they're still being shady, just be like, oh, hey, here's my card. You call me if you need me, because we know they're not going to call. So it's good for your own personal mental health and peace of mind to not constantly be backtracking and stuff like that. Definitely follow up with people who are being serious. If, like, they say, come meet with me and my wife, follow up with them. But if they're just thinking about it, you can follow up once maybe, but no more than that. But if no one else has any other questions, we're going to sign off. Try to use one of these today. Send me a text about how it goes. And everybody have an awesome Tuesday. All right. See you next time. Bye now.